The Masters is in full flight, and 9 to noon is happy to welcome Rocco Mediate into the equation.
Yeah, welcome, Rocco. More than 4 decades, of course, as a professional golfer, multiple tour wins, PGA Senior Championship, and lucky enough to get to know him from a family perspective. And Rocco joining us now. How you doing, man?
So when I see you started, the nice music started, a little limelight. That was very nice, little rush. Appreciate that.
Well, at any given time, Rocco, I feel like whether it's your cohort, Alice Cooper, or maybe Alex Lifeson of Rush, that you're going to be around some kind of music luminary. So I got to make sure I set you up with a good tune.
Absolutely. I got a new band you guys got to check out called Sleep Token. They're not new, but they're something. I'm all over that. So, but anyway, what's going on?
Day one of the Masters already in play. Some negative or some good numbers taking place at Augusta. And I'm just going to start it here. Several things to get into, but just watching the Masters, I am a rube. I am a fan. I am an outsider. There's a glow. There's a hallowed ground. There's a beauty to what takes place at Augusta every single year. I mean, of all the places you've been, and you've played in at least 10 of these at Augusta, Rocco, do you feel that hallowed ground nature as a guy that ultimately is going to find his way up and down the course? Is the shine still there at Augusta for you after all these years?
Oh, God, yeah. It was always special. It was like it's not like any other event. The whole week is special, you know. You know, it's like I said, the tournament ruins everything because you're having so much fun on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Then you got to go play for real. You're like, oh man, this was too much fun. Now I got to go do this. Obviously kidding, but it's just, I don't know. As you see it on TV, it's just a special, and it keeps getting more special. What they've done for the players and all the workout facilities, and it's just they don't do anything unless it's the best. Period. They don't even try to mess around, and it's just like you said. But funny thing is, this golf clubs work the same way there as they work everywhere else. It's Augusta National, and you got to be really good when it's firm like it is now, and you'll see how it separates. You'll see the separation starting. Well, you already saw some of it yesterday, but you'll really see it now, because if you're not on, it will decimate you, and the guys that are on will. They're going to make some space between them and the field here shortly. Just watch.
Well, I was going to save this for later, but stupid question alert. So how substantial a difference can it be, Rocco, if you're one of the first to tee off in the morning? Ooh, there's still dew on the grass. It's 56 degrees and calm versus you got a 12:45 or a 1 p.m. tee time, and now it's 87 and it's freaking Georgia, and the dew is on your shirt via sweat instead. Is there a massive swing over the course of a day from softness to firmness from a weather perspective?
Almost not enough to tell.
Okay, all right.
Because they'll take the moisture right out of those greens in the morning. I mean, there's just enough. I mean, I don't think it matters that much. The wind part will, obviously, but the firmness, it'll get firmer in the afternoon. But you know, if you think about this for a second, Zinger told me this about a month ago. We were talking. And he goes, they talk about how the greens get faster as the day goes on. You know, you've heard that, right?
Yeah.
The greens got really fast at the end of the day. That's an impossibility. The grass grows. It grows all day. So the greens they might get firmer, but they don't get faster. So it's like the fastest they're going to be is in the morning. Wow. That's as fast as they're going to be. Now, if it dries out and it firms up, totally different ballgame. But the greens don't increase in speed as the day goes on. That's a USGA comment, which said if it's not right, don't blame me. But it's really interesting to hear that. But you won't see much difference from the morning, except for the wind. Then that'll firm it up more because it takes more of the moisture out, and it gets harder. It gets just harder to play in the afternoon. And the last tee time, on Sunday and Saturday and tomorrow and today will have the toughest conditions as far as firmness and wind.
Hey, Rocco, I'm Paul Allen. Nice to meet you.
Yes, nice to meet you too.
18-year-old Mason Howell. All right, the Ballyhooed amateur. I mean, it was fascinating yesterday to see this 18-year-old Georgia kid starting his Masters career with Rory McIlroy and Cameron Young. And, then you learn about Mason, and he grew up adoring and really following Rory McIlroy as a big fan. There was a tournament where Rory gave him an autographed ball, and he put it in his bag, and he showed it to Rory, which was kind of touching and cool. Then I can't imagine how nervous this 18-year-old was in that first tee box. Of course, he hit it in the woods.
Yeah. It's a different world. But all it'll do for this kid is help him, because he felt things he never felt. He'll feel them again probably. But he will, going out with a defending champion at Augusta National, it's just so cool for him. And he played okay. He shot 5 over, but played the last couple holes, a couple under par. A couple under par today. If he's going to be more comfortable. He'll be more comfortable today, but still going to be. It's a good nightmare to have for this kid, learning and seeing. He was thrown right into the cauldron, and it's only going to help him. Whether he makes the cut or not doesn't even matter. It's just he's gonna remember those feelings, and he got to be with the defending champion and all the crazy crowd and Augusta National at its finest, most pristine condition. So yeah. It's only going to be good for him.
And now
be good for him. He seems like a good kid too.
And now Rocco on the other side of the spectrum, Fred Couples. He's 66 years of age. I mean, okay, so he's probably not going to make the cut. I think he's plus 5-ish right now. But he's still representing quite well at Augusta at age 66. How does he do it?
Yeah. Well, Freddie's gifted. Freddie, we just look at Freddie going, really? He's just going to come out after 3 weeks and after 3 months off and shoot 65 the first round? He's just an amazingly talented person. And I wouldn't count him out of the cut yet. Cut's going to be probably 4 over. So if you look at it that way, now it says it's 3, but it'll go up a touch.
Yeah.
Especially during the day. But I wouldn't count him out yet, but it's going to be tough. He's his back's a mess. He's still a mess. But I played with him a couple of weeks ago on, I think it was Saturday, and he played beautifully. He hits the ball in the middle of the face every time. He has 12,000 hybrids in his bag, and he uses them like scalpels. He's unbelievable. Of all the people to switch to hybrids, through the 6-iron is shocking, because Freddie never hit the ball. It just makes it even easier for him. So I'm not there yet. I can't do it. I can't figure it out. So I'm staying with my normal stuff. But nothing Freddie does surprises us still. And how about Jose Marie yesterday?
Yeah.
I mean, come on. Unbelievable stuff. But Augusta does that. It's firm. See, so the ball's getting out there for everybody, so you can kind of play. If it was wet, forget it. But it's not. So the ball's moving forward, and guys can get irons into some certain holes where they wouldn't if it was, wet. So I can see that happening. And Jose, around the greens is second to none. So.
Yeah,
not surprised.
And Jose,
we'll be excited to see how they do.
Jose Maria Olazabal, he's plus 3 through 3. Nordo.
Ooh, does winning last year, Rory getting over that hump, Rocco, and just so now this is kind of almost like a business trip. He got the jacket a year ago, and does that potentially enhance his chance? I mean, he went out there and shot 5 under yesterday, so you got to dig that in terms of round 1, but enhancing his ability to repeat this year, getting that monkey off his back a year ago certainly helps.
Oh my gosh, yeah, absolutely. He's, it's like he said at the end of last year. What are we going to talk about next year, guys? Because the Grand Slam he became number 6. Only 6 guys have won all 4, which is truly, think about that over golf. I think, and I've said it before, and I'll say it again. I think Rory gets to 10 majors before he's finished, simply because he got that out of his way last year. If he would never have won the Masters and continued to play and played great and won a couple other, majors, whatever, it's still one of the greatest careers in golf. But now I think he can elevate it. He wants to be the best European player ever. Faldo has 6. He has 5. Seve had 4, I believe, 2 Opens and 2 Masters, I think. He never won the U.S. or the PGA, but Faldo's the guy. So he wants to surpass that. So he's got work to do, and I think he'll do it. I think he's going to get to 10. Easy to say. He's got the ability to do it, just like Scheffler does. A few other guys do. Xander get 4 or 5 of them, but it's easier said than done. But they have the game. Not many guys have the game to do that. There's just not many.
So when I get the chance to talk with you, Rocco, I always want to, hit the prescient, hit the current, but then I kind of want to go back in time. So, watching the Players Championship at Sawgrass, Cameron Young on 18 unleashes that freaking beast with the 375-yard drive. Unbelievable. And he needed it in that spot, right? Do you ever, could you hearken back and say that there was that shot for you at any point throughout your career where you absolutely needed it? You pulled something out of the bag and it was a freaking rocket that you didn't see coming, and it was perfection.
Yeah, I mean, on 18 at TPC, I lived there for a lot of years, but I played 100 Players Championships. They talk about just this isn't really the question you asked, but it'll get to that. They talk about 17, right? Okay. Yeah. Are you thinking about 17 when you're teeing off one? No, because I have 16 brutally nasty things I got to get before I get to 17. So you get to 17. 17 is the biggest green on the golf course, the biggest square footage of the golf course. And you're looking at 135 yards. Shouldn't be that hard, right? But it is, of course. The wind gets blowing and blah, 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 all that stuff. So let's just say you have the one-shot lead going to 17. And you make a par or birdie, and you increase your lead by one, or you keep it the same. You're not even close to done. 17 was a walk in the park compared to what you got to go across underneath the thing over to the other side of the bleachers. Because 18 is pure evil. Because you can't bail out. There's nowhere to go. You either hit it in the fairway or you're chipping out, basically. Mm-hmm. So when Cameron made the birdie on 17, which was ridiculously cool, the putt was even better than the shot he hit. Now he's got to face this monster. What do? Do you hit an iron off the tee and take a longer club in to that back pin? Or do you say, you know what, I'm just going to hit the greatest shot I've ever hit, which is what he said. And he did. Now, to 375, that's a bit over the top, I'd say. But then he has a sand wedge in his hand that could easily get away from him over the green, and it almost did. You see, so 18 is way harder than 17 after you get through 17. Way harder to finish off something. And no one talks about that. But a lot of times I had some good events there, and no matter what I did on 17, I remember hit a beautiful iron shot on 17 on Sunday, and it kicked and just fell in the water over the green there, just past the flag. I didn't get it up and down, but I made a 5. I'm still in the top, 6. And I got to go finish. I don't want to make another double. I want to either birdie or par, so now I got to face this thing after hitting a good-looking shot on 17, making 5. See, so it's TPC is one of the greatest designs of all time for a championship because of the finish. And you saw that. And like Rory did the same thing when he won. Ricky Fowler hit a drive like that, not 375, but a great tee shot. Because if you don't come with it, you're going to lose on that hole. It's going to go right. You saw Fitzy hit a beautiful looking tee shot. It just went a little too far. He didn't block it. He loved it when he hit it, and he made 5 over. Simple as that. So, but what Cameron did was special. Obviously, to win that tournament, you have to be special. And he obviously is. I think he's going to show it more as he gets older.
Time for a couple more here with you, Rocco. Tiger Woods, you know him, you've played with him, and we've heard on the outside just some recent troubles. And, there's the human element that comes into it for me, Rocco, and, from the news headlines versus, I want to see more of him with his kid, Charlie, like we saw at the PNC a couple years ago. Just, it's tough stuff going on. What do you make of all of it?
Well, first of all, people need to jump off the attack Tiger bandwagon crap that we're hearing. Falado opened his mouth again, didn't need to because no one wants to hear it, about this and what I would do and what he should do. You know what? This isn't happening on purpose. He has a little bit of a pain problem. He's trying to fix it. Did he go the right way? Apparently not. Now he's going to go fix it. And if Tiger says to me, I haven't talked to him in 10 years, but if he says to me, I'm going to fix it, he's going to fix it. Okay? The fact that he's got to leave the country for privacy is embarrassing, not to him, to the country. Leave him alone. Okay? Leave him alone. Okay? All of us make mistakes. Every single one of us.
Amen.
And just because he's so well known and he makes a couple of mistakes, now he's the devil. It's ridiculous. What showing all that crap in the car? Come on, guys, stop it. Stop it. Just stop it. They didn't do that for anybody else. Well, I guess they do, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
You know, being that he's one of the most famous athletes on the face of the earth still to this day.
Yeah.
You know, just leave him be. Leave him be. Okay, he'll fix it. And if he doesn't, but he will. Like I said, I haven't talked to him in 10 years. But I'm a huge fan, and I only wish the best for him because what he's going through is hell. Pain is hell, especially when you use your body for a sport. But more importantly, get back to where you can walk normal, hang out with your kids, enjoy yourself. If we get more golf, bonus. But if we don't, we already have what we needed, I think.
Rocco, that was fantastic, man. It's great meeting you, and I've heard nothing but great things about you and your family from Nordo, from the time you spent here in Minnesota.
Nordo's the best.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. And may God bless you and your family, and I look forward to the next time we get to do this.
Yeah, we'll do it during the U.S. Open. Just let me know. We'll do the U.S. Open thing, too.
That'd be sweet.
Sounds good, man. Thanks, Rocco.
See you,
all right, guys. You got it. We'll talk to you.
Rocco Mediate, very recognizable name and voice in the world of golf, and friends with the Nordquist family from some time they spent here in Minnesota. That's terrific. We'll be right back. KG is in Nashville at Gorg Mediate 21 via X if you would like to follow, like 9 to noon does. What'd you think of the game overall last night in Dallas? And good morning.
Good morning, PA. Well, it was a playoff preview, and if we're going to get 6 or 7 games of what I saw last night, sign me up for it. As a hockey fan, it's as good as it gets. It was intense. A bunch of skill on display. Just two teams that literally hate each other, which makes it even that much more enjoyable from my perspective. So a little bit disheartening from a Wild perspective because it felt like a game they easily could have won. But the bottom line is when you get to next Saturday and you're in Dallas for game 1, the series is 0-0, and I think it's going to be an epic battle all the way. How much does home ice matter to you? And the reason I ask is I just went through the last 4 years of the Stanley Cup playoffs, and 65% of the road teams are winning the series. Now, granted, I mean, from a spotting up standpoint, just, before the playoffs begin, take a look at that Eastern Conference first round, where, like the last 3 years in the first round of the Eastern Conference, I think the road team's winning like 85% of the time. So how much does this matter to you? Well, in a series that's, I think, as you handicap at PA, that the differences between these two hockey teams it's razor thin, and matchups are going to matter. So I'd be naive to sit here and tell you that home ice isn't going to give teams a certain edge. And then when you factor in, we'll just take it from a Wild perspective because our listeners have probably been to a game, have probably taken in the atmosphere in St. Paul on a playoff game night. There's nothing like it. So certainly that's the biggest part of the disappointment from not winning last night. But I will tell you from covering this team all the way through this particular season, for whatever reason, they almost are more comfortable on the road. And the record speaks to that. They've got a terrific road record that's been consistently good all year. They've won in some really tough buildings, including Colorado. So it matters. Certainly Dallas getting that win last night, pretty much cementing home ice, is a factor. But I do think this particular Wild team has no problem going on the road and playing well, and they showed that throughout most of that game last night.
KG. How do you think Heinze handles the Nashville game and really maybe the next one, given we are now 4 behind the Stars?
Yeah, to me, that's the biggest question mark I have as we get ready for these final 3 broadcasts. 3 games in 4 nights at the end of a grinder of a season where your key players, a lot of them were in the Olympics and didn't get much of a break. So I would guess that because you're still mathematically in it and because Nashville's in a big spot, that you're going to see a lot of the regulars play in tomorrow's game. But I will be very, very surprised with that back-to-back Monday in St. Louis and then Tuesday back in St. Paul to close it out against the Ducks if some of those key players don't get a little rest in that window of time. No practice today, off day. So, and there was a scheduled practice, but they got in kind of late. So there's been a little shuffling of the deck. I'll be at the hotel. I'll be bumping into some of the coaches and some of the staff and try to get a read on things today. But I think that's the biggest question mark now coming in. You want to be healthy when you get to Dallas for that game next Saturday. And so whatever they can do to put their team in the best place for that series now is really all that matters to me. The points that they can gain from this point out don't matter. I think Dallas is probably a 98% equation to get that home ice, so I don't think you need to empty the tank anymore.
Did you leave the game last night thinking, yeah, we absolutely can beat those guys in a 7-game series?
We absolutely can. I haven't doubted that all year. The disheartening part for me is that, if I'm being honest, I'm handicapping this game legitimately. Minnesota got 3 power play goals. They scored 4 on Jake Ottinger and had a 2-goal lead within that contest. So certainly a little frustrating there. Now, to play devil's advocate, things change in the playoffs. I don't think you're going to see quite as much physical activity in between the whistles. I don't think you're going to see as many penalties along the way. And I just think that this Wild team in particular, and I know they've lost to Dallas in the 2 playoff series that we've had against that team, this team is built a little bit differently. And the Quinn Hughes addition, then you add some of that beef at the trade deadline. This team can play a lot of different ways. And this team, as it's assembled, has never lost a playoff series. So I think that mentality is going to be important. And I think, for this club, leaving the game last night, you can look at the glass as half empty and say you let one get away. You can look at the glass as half full. Dallas is one of the best teams in the league. They fired a bullet last night. You could have won the game. You didn't. You probably outplayed them most of the game. There are some positives in that for sure. The
Hughesy goal was a masterpiece because of the timing that he had to get the shot off. I mean, he had to shoot it probably a little earlier than he wanted. The Zuccarello pass was fantastic. I mean, how about that Hughesy goal last night?
Hell of a shot. If you're going to beat Ottinger clean, and by the way, he came out. He was on his angle. He was in the proper position. He's a monster. He's a big kid. And to go post to post like that, I'm glad you brought up Matt Zuccarello's name, because kind of getting lost in the shuffle, because Kaprizov's caught fire. Boldy's doing Boldy things. Hartman's doing what he always does come playoff time. Lost in the shuffle is the production we've seen here down the stretch from Matt Zuccarello. And I love the combination that Minnesota has on this roster of some youthful talent like a Quinn Hughes, like a Matt Boldy, but veteran players that have been there, done that. Tarasenko's, the Zuccarellos, the Spurgeons. To me, when the playoffs get going and the heat gets turned up, these are the guys that can really move the needle. And so really excited about the way Zuccarello's playing. You clearly can tell by the way he's skating that he's feeling good right now. He's one of the smartest hockey players I've ever seen, PA. This guy just knows what to do with and without the puck. You talk to his teammates, there's not a better player in the league at moving the puck tape to Dave. He's unbelievable at what he does. And so I like the way this thing is trending. It's just Dallas is a really, really good hockey team. And so this is going to test Minnesota. This is going to be a series where I've said all along, I believe the team that wins this series legitimately is going to represent the West in the Stanley Cup. And I have not changed my mind. I feel very strong about that. These are 2 of the best 4 or 5 teams in the league. And I think it's going to be just spectacular drama to watch.
Masters update for KG. The 2 hottest guys of significance now on the course would be the likes of Wyndham Clark and Tyrell Hatton. They're both 4 under today. Clark 4 under through 17 has elevated himself to 3rd behind Burns and McIlroy. They're yet to tee off. Tyrell Hatton is through 10. He's 2 under with a bunch of other golfers. Day 2 of the Masters. What'd you think of yesterday?
Well, a lot like today, the weather is the story. The last 5 or 6 years, PA, there's been either moisture during the tournament or a ton of rain leading up to the tournament. And the fact that this course is firm and dry is really bringing out the teeth in what Augusta brings. And so really testing the players. I'm glad you brought up Wyndham Clark, because both days I think it's going to be a huge advantage to play in that morning slot. And so Wyndham Clark gets out early. The course still is drying out, firming up, and he gets out there and is able to put up a number. And we saw a guy like Sungjae M, who's way back, do the same thing. Afternoon guys like the leaders, McIlroy and Burns, in the heat of the day, as the course really gets tough. I think the number right now at -5, I know Wyndham Clark is 1 off that number. I don't know how dissimilar that number is going to be at the end of the day, because we saw it in the afternoon yesterday. This course gets nearly impossible around the greens when it's firm and dry. And the good news is it's going to be that way all the way through the weekend. So what excites me is I love moving day Saturday and then the back nine Sunday when there's a bunch of guys that can win it. And if this course continues to be firm and dry in the afternoon, that's going to bring everybody into the mix because the people that tee off late have the toughest course to play.
KG, your power trip golfer for the Masters is Rory McIlroy, and amazingly, you got him at 6, and he looked great yesterday. Would you bet Rory McIlroy from here to win the whole thing?
I would. I really liked what I saw yesterday because he hadn't played since the Players. Remember, he had that back issue right before going to Sawgrass, and he's fully healthy now, but he looked a little rusty. And if you watched his front nine, his driver was all over the place. He could not hit a fairway to save his life, and he was able to weather the storm. And I'm certain that he'll feel better today than he did yesterday. And the one thing about the Masters, PA, is experience matters here more than any other tournament at any point in the season. And Rory's got all that experience. And all that pressure over the years of can he win a green jacket is gone now. And it feels to me like he's in a really good place mentally. Now, it's not going to be easy. There are so many good players knocking at the door, but I really like the way he was able to kind of stave off all that trouble yesterday and then take advantage of the par fives. I just think today with his late tee time, I think it's going to be a much tougher round of golf for him. So if he can just keep it at 5, maybe get to 6 under and post that, I think he'll be in a great spot. But he clearly right now is the favorite, especially now that Scheffler's given a couple shots back. I think Scheffler will make a run here and get back into contention because he's through the hardest part of the course. He's in a good position for birdie or eagle at 8 right now. And Scotty's a guy that I think Rory's going to have in his sights over his shoulder because, to me, it feels like it might come down to Rory and Scheffler on Sunday. And I'm telling you right now, get your popcorn ready for that.
Well, Scotty better get going. I mean, like you said, he's tied for 18th, +2. He's on the 8th right now. He's even. Why was Scotty Scheffler kind of ignored in the betting markets?
He hadn't played in 3 weeks. And when Scotty Scheffler plays bad, he ends up being like T24. And so bad Scotty Scheffler had been out, and again, it's so funny that we have this different bar for Scheffler, right?
Yeah.
And then, his wife has the baby, so they're having all that fun with the welcoming their second child in. But bottom line is, there's not a player on the planet with a short game better than Scotty Scheffler's. And you're going to get him back on one of his favorite golf courses where the greens are firm and dry, where the short game gets magnified. This guy's going to be there on Sunday. I'm telling you right now. I know he's 5 back right now. I know he's nowhere close to the top of that leaderboard. He's lining up a putt right now at 8 for eagle. So it's going to be a birdie or an eagle there. He's got 2 par 5s on the back nine. And come this weekend, Scotty Scheffler will be in the mix. And it's going to be fun to watch.
I love it, man. Last one.
KG.
The 18-year-old amateur, Mason Howe, the Georgia kid, first Masters, and he's grouped with Rory McIlroy and the Players champion, Cameron Young, who's red hot right now. I mean, of course, his first drive with those guys watching went into the woods. But what an honor for the Georgia kid to play with those guys, man.
And I got to tell you, the kid showed me something yesterday, too, because the nerves were clearly there early. You touched on that. He's a teenager. He's on the biggest stage in golf at Augusta with the defending champion. And he showed some serious chops and some real skill, made a couple of birdies late. And I love, it's different at the Masters, right? Nobody has their phone. So the crowd was kind of feeding off this kid late in that round. Amazingly talented young man. And, for him and his family, think about the memories this weekend is going to create. And clearly this kid's got a future at a real high level in golf. But it was one of the really feel-good stories of the opening day of the Masters, no doubt about it.
Appreciate you, brother. Safe travels back. Enjoy the game tomorrow. And can't wait to see you in person, maybe even next week, all right?
Sounds great, PA. Have a great weekend.
Yep, you too. That's Kevin Gorg. He's Gorgomatic at Gorgomatic21 via X. It is now post time for the post game, and that's all.
I can't wait until these playoff series kick off, PA. Final segment 9 to noon brings us to the post game, and we covered the Minnesota Wild for a bit in two different portions today, podcastable with the free iHeartRadio app. But we opened the show with Finchy.
Do you mind if I throw a needed tentacle in here?
Oh, please do.
We did not have News Due Nord today.
Yeah.
And it behooves us to congratulate the Minnesota Twins on a 4-game sweep of the Detroit Tigers.
Yes.
The favorites to win this division. As I said, after the team failed to meet with Baltimore, the first series of the season, there may not be many times to legitimately congratulate this baseball team for an accomplishment. So, covenant claps from 9 to noon for sweeping the Motor City Kitties, man. That ain't easy. You won the Scooble game, you won the Mize game, you won the Flaherty game, and now you head to Toronto. So, anyway, I'm sorry.
No, that's all good, and looking forward to seeing if they can continue that winning trend, the baseball team, into the weekend. But for the Hoop Squad, for the 6-seeded Timberwolves, we opened the show with head coach Chris Finch. You got Houston tonight. And then you have, of course, the Pelicans on Sunday to end the regular season. And then it's playoff time. But as part of that, you were chatting with him earlier, and I got some clips for you, 2 of them, in fact. And the first one, you're asking him about Terrence Shannon Jr. and kind of shaping things up from a bench perspective.
Terrence Shannon Jr. went for 33 and 31 minutes at Orlando. Is he auditioning right now for postseason minutes off the bench?
Absolutely he is. Everybody is. I mean, the playoffs is very much about situational basketball. It's very much about matchups and adjustments. We might start a series with one thing in mind and realize that the series needs something else, and we might need, like on-ball defense, which would be Jalen Clark. It might need coast-to-coast scoring, which would be more along the lines of what TJ can bring. So I think coming down the stretch here, both TJ and Jalen have played really well for us, and they haven't had necessarily consistent roles. And some nights they might take a DNP. They didn't play, and it was our decision to not play them because we played the other one because we felt that's what the game might need. And they've both stayed ready, and they've really performed when they've come on the court, whether it's been for 8 minutes or 18 minutes. It didn't matter. And I'm proud of them for that because it's not an easy thing to always be able to do. But that's exactly how the playoffs are going to map out for them and their roles.
So in some ways, giving us something to watch here over the final couple is individuals like Terrence Shannon Jr., what they do with these extra minutes and how that shapes things into the postseason. And speaking of shaping things, light place, dark place, you asked Finch, just based on a conversation a week and change ago, where they were, where they are from a mentality standpoint.
We are about a week removed from you saying that you guys were in a dark place. Has the light of the postseason and some rest and road relaxation loosened the tension?
Well, no doubt about it. I mean, listen, getting qualifying for the playoffs for the 5th straight year in a row, no matter how we got here, it was something we don't take for granted, PA. This is hard business. We have been inconsistent at times. We own that. At times we've looked bored throughout the regular season. And, now it's up for us to change that mindset and attack these playoffs with all the, opportunity that is there for us. We know that we're a good team. We know what we need to do. And it's up to us now to kind of flip that mindset. And that's the crazy thing about the league. You can be in a dark place and a week later you can be, in the midst of a good run. I'm sure when Houston walked out of our building, they felt they were in a pretty dark place, and now they've kind of ripped off the end of the season here in style. So it can go both ways too. You can go quickly back. The margins are slim, but we're proud to have made the playoffs again, and we're not worried about who we play or where we play. We know we got to play better basketball, but we're up for the challenge.
Up for the challenge. That's head coach Chris Finch, again, podcastable. Part of the postgame, what did you miss on a Friday feast? 9 a.m., Chris Finch opening the show. You can hear that entire conversation via the free iHeartRadio app. And during the 10 a.m. hour, how about Alec Lewis? Low-hanging fruit might be the obvious answer. Some conversation in studio. Alec Lewis of The Athletic. about Dylan Thieneman and just kind of what's up the sleeve of Mr. Briz? How does he see this draft and in acquiring fresh talent?
What's interesting is he played at Purdue to start his college career. And he's like the youngest, I believe, of three brothers, and they all played, and they all kind of set a standard for him.
So they're taking him. For you to have that knowledge that you're ready to drop the gamer.
No, I've done
right after the pick.
He's already done a feature with mom and dad.
No, you know me with the draft. Like, I'm fascinated by it. I'm interested. I want to be on top of it. So he starts at Purdue. They play like a very man-heavy system, and he was just like the one high deep safety, ranging sideline to sideline. Then he transfers to Oregon, and he played in an interesting type role where he's like kind of a box-ish type player. He's kind of, a 3 safety-ish, like pull runner in a Tampa 2 type style player. And so, and they trusted him to be a pretty versatile piece for them in their defense. And what is a complex defense? I mean, Dan Lanning, the coach of Oregon, is a defensive guy who was under Kirby Smart and brought that Georgia defense essentially up to Oregon. So, yeah, I mean, I've talked to people who are on the Oregon staff who rave about the character, who rave about, it's the classic.
Well, how is Phil Knight?
It's the classic first guy in, but that stuff with Dylan Thieneman is real. I mean, the really interesting, I think, conversation to have right now with this in relation to the Vikings is what happens if to your point, a Miami, a Dallas Cowboys at 12. If they take that shot early, then what happens with the Vikings?
Love it.
And those scenarios are the ones that internally they're going to have to consider. But I would be surprised with how I know Rob Brzezinski wants to operate if they don't care a lot on, high character, high college production, the stuff that typically is predictive for NFL success. Like, that's how I expect them to approach this draft.
Alec Lewis, that was during the 10 a.m. hour, again, podcastable with the free iHeartRadio app. And then to kick off the final stretch, and big thanks to Kevin Gorg as well from Nashville on the Wild and a little golf. Speaking of golf, Rocco Mediate joined us to open up the final frame. And here he is talking about Rory McIlroy. Since he won it last year, maybe this is more of a business trip for him and less pressure to find his way to another green jacket.
Oh, my gosh, yeah, absolutely. He's, it's like he said at the end of last year, what are we going to talk about next year, guys? Because the Grand Slam, he became number 6. Only 6 guys have won all 4, which is truly, think about that over golf. I think, and I've said it before, and I'll say it again. I think Rory gets to 10 majors before he's finished, simply because he got that out of his way last year. If he would never have won the Masters and continued to play and played great and won a couple other, majors, whatever, it's still one of the greatest careers in golf. But now I think he can elevate it. He wants to be the best European player ever. Faldo has 6. He has 5. Seve had 4, I believe, 2 Opens and 2 Masters, I think. He never won the U.S. or the PGA, but Faldo's the guy. So he wants to surpass that. So he's got work to do, and I think he'll do it. I think he's going to get to 10. Easy to say. He's got the ability to do it, just like Scheffler does. A few other guys do. Xander get 4 or 5 of them, but it's easier said than done. But they have the game. Not many guys have the game to do that. There's just not many.
So you can hear that entire conversation again with Rocco Mediate, longtime 40-plus years as a professional golfer, joining us around majors time, and always appreciate that. But that is all podcastable with the free iHeartRadio app, and that'll be available momentarily as we put an end to this thing, PA. It was a fun show today, a Friday feast as it was. And, Dylan Thieneman, low-hanging fruit, kind of feeling that. Kind of feeling Finchy in these playoffs. Can these playoff series please freaking get here? And Rory McIlroy, to Rocco's point, he's atop the leaderboard right now at 5 under. We kind of covered all bases, didn't we?
And if you consider Rory McIlroy, I believe he's 36 years of age, something around there. He's played like the Masters half of his life. I mean, it's because he started so young, and with from a podcasting standpoint, if like I caught snippets of the postgame and I was interested in podcasting 9 to noon, I would podcast the 11 a.m. chat with Rocco Mediate. And we heard him talking about Rory McIlroy there, but he also had some interesting things to say about this 18-year-old amateur champion, Mason Howe, who's from Georgia. He's going to the University of Georgia next year to be on the golf team. And he made his Masters debut at age 18, and he was with his longtime favorite, Rory McIlroy, and Players champion Cameron Young. And to push through that, I mean, that was a wonderful, wonderful story. Likewise for his response on what he thinks is going on in the world of Tiger Woods. Podcastable, KFAN.com, 9 to noon on demand. That began the final hour. Thank you for listening. For Nordo, I'm Paul Allen. May God bless you and all of your families. Thank you for listening to KFAN, and the program is next.
9 to noon.
If it's good news or money, leave a message.
Podcast today's Paul Allen Show, or listen back to previous show and interviews by going to the iHeartRadio app or KFAN.com.